Oh, wait, you're not Jacques?
No, I'm Paul.
Paul's here, and it's time for the test garden transformation. So Paul's standing in for Jacques because Jacques is doing his civic duty and going to jury duty. Hopefully he is not on a serious case. Otherwise you might not see him here for a while. So Paul, you are filling in, but really you're here all the time.
I am.
Just a little bit unseen, but you'll be seeing more of Paul. You and Jacques, when I was on vacation, maybe last year.
I think so.
Or the year prior, built out this framed test garden.
Yeah.
Which we've had a lot of cool experiments in. We don't have any in right now. And you can see we have a bunch of compost. So what we're gonna do right now is a little garden chore session, resetting this test garden, maybe reminiscing on some of the fun experiments we've done and coming up with some future ones for next season. So let's get into it. All right, guys, step one is to realize that this test garden once had real edges.
It did, and it no longer does, so.
So we're gonna do some archaeological digging here. I'm gonna come up on this corner.
Okay.
And just kind of pull the mulch aside.
For sure.
And bring it out this way. I liked that border. I really liked it.
Yeah, it's a good border. It's a nice square. It keeps everything in too. None of the mulch is moving in or out. In a perfect world.
Something I've been surprised about in this bed, Paul, is how well the soil has done from an initial setup. I think it's because a long time ago, you guys remember, Jacques and I were the machete boys, and we made a little chop and drop garden of cover crop, and that's what we did here. And then the other year we did the corn maze. My guess is doing that for 2 seasons, not really growing anything like super intensely, made this soil really nice and also broke it up a lot.
Definitely.
So I think that's why some of our test garden results have been so explosive.
The cool thing about this build was it wasn't hard at all. I mean, Jacques and I finished this out in half a day tops. 4x4s, about a foot of rebar, hammer it in. The thing will never move.
It will never move, and it never has. Very easy to replace as well.
Yeah.
Border revealed. Now it's time to define the outer edge. The favorite experiment we've ever done here, it almost might be the first one, tomato food scraps.
Ah, that was a good one.
It was so stark, the result, being that basically burying nothing almost always will outperform in year one. Now what we haven't tested, and I'm curious if we do test it, Paul, is in year two, if you were to bury different things underneath the soil, not plant that season, leave it fallow, wait, plant the tomato next year, would you see the barren plot do better?
Sure.
I think the answer is then gonna be no. Because the fish, the pasta, whatever we buried, will be fully incorporated into organics.
Yeah, it's had that time to break down, right?
Theoretically, the organic matter should be higher, or the bioavailable nutrients should be higher, rather. Whereas the first time, I think, truly, some of the soil just went slightly anaerobic.
Yeah.
Which means, of course, there's not gonna be a lot of nutrient uptake there.
Yeah, this test garden's seen a lot of different phases of life.
I would say the most variety in the entire homestead has been the test garden.
I would agree.
Corn maze, cover crops, dahlias, all sorts of different experiments, potatoes, yams, like it's been wild.
And so many different versions of you, man. I mean, remember when you and Jacques were eating those hot peppers right around Halloween?
Oh my God, in the corn maze?
Yeah.
You know, we discovered something new scientifically that day. We discovered that eating Pop Rocks afterwards makes the heat go away. Because we had all these different, cures. Everyone says milk works, and it does, but the sugar weirdly works.
See, we're providing all different sorts of experiments here. Experiments on the human body.
Yeah, experiments on the psyche as well.
I'm also just curious to see what at my absolute peak, like if I was just dialed for the next 6 to 8.
Where you could actually be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everyone wants that. Everyone wants to know that optimal.
Yeah.
Even Socrates had that. I wonder if he was jacked, though, is the real question. Was Socrates jacked? Or was he just kind of saying stuff?
That's a great question.
Was he? Because whenever you see statues of him, he's jacked.
Sure.
Of course he is in statues. We all take good art of ourselves. I have a feeling, though, that they weren't.
I think so, too.
All right, we're busting out a tool we haven't used in a while here on the channel. It's been a while, Paul, honestly.
It sure has.
This thing is great. The oscillating sprayer that you can control the actual spray width of it.
Yep.
It's super nice. So you ready to hit it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
All right, I am gonna run the second that I pull it.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Go, 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 go. Oh, beautiful. Okay, the water's about to hit me in the face. Oh. Actually, the clump of water just hit me. But The test garden's done. We are now going to give you a little treat and plant out some winter wheat. All right, what we have here is Palouse brand wheat. This is hard red winter wheat. So in San Diego, you can plant a winter wheat at this time of year, fall to early winter. It comes up green, kind of stays that way. It doesn't grow too fast over the true winter here. And then in spring, summer, that's when it does all of its growing. So 20 to 60 seeds per square foot. We're gonna do it in the tomato bed that we did mostly tomatoes in, Paul.
Yep.
For the entirety of having this homestead. But we had some root knot nematode issues here, so we're just gonna try something a little different.
Yeah.
Plus it's been a couple years since we've done wheat, since we've baked sourdough bread with Jacques. I just wanna grow wheat, honestly. So what we have here is 5 pounds. The mission is to get more than 5 pounds of wheat out of this. Otherwise, why are you planting it? You should be buying it.
For sure.
But except for the love of the grow. So I'm gonna come through and I'm gonna start at this end. I'll just do a little sprinkling.
Cool.
And then I think just rake it in.
I think so too.
And just cover it up enough. So what we're gonna need to do though, is we're gonna need to hand water it until we see germination.
Yep.
Because the irrigation lines just will not cover all this.
Is this one of those crops, because I've never grown wheat,
Yeah.
is this one of those crops that's worth covering with something like burlap or?
It's like the seed is quite hard.
Okay.
And it's quite large. So it's not quite like a carrot where, oh, the germ is so hard to do.
Sure.
It's more like once it sprouts, it needs to stay moist, but not damp because it needs to stay basically green throughout the winter. So I don't think we're like super worried about it. I will say though, like maybe because a lot of this is still surface,
right?
we may want to put something on top.
Yeah.
But normally we might like throw the compost on top after and then we wouldn't have to.
Sure.
I think that would have been fine. And then we'll just compost this bag. All right, so this is just more of that compost that we put over in the test garden. I don't think this is mandatory, but I am a little concerned with the visibility of the seed. I don't necessarily want it directly on the surface. So I'm gonna cover it up, hoping that some of that water retention from the compost will keep these nice and moist as they germinate and set root. And that's how easy it is to get wheat in the ground. There's some cool stuff going on in the garden just from last week, so I'm gonna show you that right now. What do you guys think? The garlic and onions from a couple weeks ago are already up. All the garlic right here is up. Of course, the onions were up because they started as seedlings, but you can see they're taking really well with some of them doubling in height already in just about 8 or 9 days. And we've freshly applied compost to the entire garden here. Now, what we haven't done yet is change the bed design, and we also haven't put any sort of like fencing or demarcation in the garden. But to me, the earlier you get that compost on, those amendments that you want to do for the next season, the better, because it just gives that soil and the soil life more time to break down all of that into usable nutrients for the plants that you're going to grow next season. So boom, 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 the whole backyard garden is now completely full of beautiful compost, and we've got at least some crops in our mild winter that are gonna carry through and start going crazy when it comes to spring. So a lot of cool changes coming this year. I'm sweating because it is still 70+ degrees here in the middle of December in San Diego, California, Zone 10B. This is Kevin from Epic Gardening and Epic Homesteading, not stepping on my garlic, wishing you a happy holidays, good luck in the garden, and keep on growing.